Welcome back for more Resident Evil 6 video, ladies and gents. Hope you're doing well. My name is Lewis, aka Manyouaman here, and this is basically the final episode of Resident Evil 6, is to share my thoughts, my opinion, and my review on Resident Evil 6. So this review will be based on the PlayStation 4 version, which is the version that I played, and not really back in the day on the PlayStation 3 version or PC version, because I never played the PC version. So majority of my opinion will be based on, all my thoughts will be based on the PlayStation 4 version, which play very similar to the PlayStation 3 version with upscale resolution and maybe improved frame rate. So that being said, let's crack on with the positives of Resident Evil 6. So the first two positives of Resident Evil 6 is relating to the gameplay element. This game movement is very fluid. You can dodge 4 different directions very quickly, very stylishly, if that's a word. In some instances, like Ada with the cartwheel on the side, you can barrel roll pretty much with all the characters up front, or you can back down, go left or right, like I said. So yeah, all the movement is very fluid. You can use it to your advantage to dodge melee attack or any kind of gunshot attack from the enemy, which is a must because the enemies are very aggressive and there are plenty of enemies in this game. The movement on Resident Evil 6, I kind of banged on about it quite a lot. I really do like it. It's fluid and it's definitely necessary for this action piece. So talking about the action pieces, this is Resident Evil 6 in a nutshell, basically. The gunplay felt great. The monsters, the enemy, the Javo, or whatever you want to call them, when you shoot their arms and then they will break into, mutate into like a stronger arm or like a wing arm kind of thing. You shoot the head and then it pops up a couple more heads. So they mutate to make Kit a little bit more different, and obviously have a close range Javo who got their machete like swinging at you, and then you have the long range Javo which is actually shooting at you with sniper rifles and assault rifle and stuff like that. So there are plenty of enemy type for you to fight, and there are plenty of guns for you to choose from to fight them back. So yeah, a complete action piece for sure. So another positive about this game is probably a smaller positive, but I do think Resident Evil 6 looks okay. It still looks pretty good to this day. Nothing extraordinary, and for me, I'm not really the one who like focus on the graphics a lot. I don't nitpick all the detail. So therefore, just in my opinion, I think this game looks better than Revelations 2. It just looks better. You do have some scenes such as the Jake and Chris and Pierce motorcycle chase scenes. They look bad. They look very empty and they just look bad. And there are still some scenes like that. But majority of the game, I think it looks okay. I think it looks pretty good. So next time we're going to talk about the feature of the Resident Evil 6 game. There are 5 online modes in total, plus the Mercenary mode where you can play solo as well. So the 5 online mode, of course, is online only, so it's PvP or PvE related. So we can be a characters fighting another characters, or we can be a monster just chasing around beating people up. So the online community, the player base is pretty much dead, so you won't really get into a game. But if you have your buddies who also play Resident Evil 6 and you guys enjoy Resident Evil 6, then you and your mates can join up into a local game and do some Resident Evil 6 PvP, PvE. So when this whole online thing came out in Resident Evil 6, I didn't really have the chance to try it that much. I think I went into a couple of games back on the PlayStation 3 days. Never really got onto it, so I can't comment on it, how good or how bad it is, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But the most important thing for the replayability of this game that can eat up a lot of your hours is, yes, the campaigns are very long, and if you do the collectible as well, that's like 30 hours of gameplay. But it's also, well, next positive that I'm going to talk about is the Mercenary mode, which you can play solo or co-op. So the Mercenary mode, there are a total of 10 maps, and also there are plenty of characters. I don't know specifically how many characters you get, but you get all the story characters like Helena, Leon, Chris, Sherry and Ada and all that stuff, and plus a couple more. You get all these characters that you can pick from. You need to unlock some of them, and yeah, it's basically just a time limited high scoring game that you just keep killing enemies as many as you can, and chain the combo as well, so chain the kill combo I should say, as much as you can to get the highest score. So the whole thing is really fun because it emphasizes the gameplay of Resident Evil 6, and I think when you look at Resident Evil 6 as an action piece, this is the main draw, like because of the whole action movement, fluid movement that I said on my first positive about this game, and also the gunplay is really solid. All of that mixed into a time limit mode where you have to get a high score is perfect. It's perfect for it. It's really fun, it's really good, and you're definitely going to have a lot of fun doing this. And you can get competitive on it, or you can be very chill on it as well, but at the end of the day you'll have fun doing it. Right, so that's all my positive about Resident Evil 6. So the negatives on this Resident Evil 6 also start with a few gameplay element related. So the first negative about the gameplay is that yes, the movement is more fluid. You can dodge like kind of 4 direction, you can do the whole cover thing, but you really do need to have time to learn that movement, learn how to be fluid with it, learn how to take advantage of it, and sometimes it can be a little bit clunky, or it might not be the movement that you want. But once you master it, you're going to have a lot of fun just dodging enemies' attack left, right and center, but it's just that it can be a bit clunky to master if you don't put a lot of time into it and deliberately improving your gameplay. So the second gameplay is that it forces you to do the chase scene every now and again, and sometimes some of the scenes are just very boring, very dull. So one example is the Chris and Pierce in the Humvee chasing Ada Wong throughout the motorway and stuff like that. That one is really boring chase scene, and there's some scene that it just forces you to fight a certain something or someone. Sometimes that's okay, but again, a lot of the time you just feel forced into those kind of action sequence that maybe is not needed. It's just a way to kind of drag out the game. But you know, some of them are quite cool, like the snowmobile in the Sherry and Jay campaign. But it got ridiculous when the ground starting to shoot up and stuff like that. It did get a little bit ridiculous, but that was actually okay. That was actually quite dramatic and quite fun. So the last negative about the game is relating to the inventory system of Resident Evil 6. So you press left or right on the D-pad to change weapon, and you press up and down to change to your grenades or your item or your first aid. So in Resident Evil 5 you can shortcut the weapon, so basically anything that is up, left, right or down you can quickly change to your weapon. But in Resident Evil 6, if you needed your grenade launcher, you have to press right or left, and you have to really look at that menu to see what are you picking up on. This is all like real life, real time, so your enemies attacking at the same time, and you try to just keep pressing left or right to find the right gun for you. It's annoying. It's really annoying. They had the system in place in Resident Evil 5, and I don't know why they didn't use it. Because like Chris, for example, you have tons of guns to choose from. You know, you have your assault rifle, your shotgun, your magnum. I think, do they have a magnum? I'm not too sure, but like grenade launchers, pistols, knife. You have all these weapons, and pressing left and right like 3-4 times just kind of, it's not precise. And sometimes just pausing the game, like in real time pausing the game and trying to find the right gun, that kind of breaks the flow of the game. And I don't know why, every time you chuck a grenade or you put a remote bomb down, you automatically switch back to your gun. Even though you have more grenades, it doesn't switch to your grenade so you can throw more. You can throw like 2 or 3. You switch it back to your gun, and that has caught me out a lot of the time, and that's my dislike on this game. So the next negative is relating to the story of Resident Evil 6. I'm gonna be honest, it's pretty crap. The Resident Evil 6 story is really crap, but I think it's cool though. Like, some of the cutscene is really cool. There's a lot of explosions going around left, right, center. It's probably like a Michael Bay movie. Everything has to be dramatic. But in terms of the storyline, it's very dull, and the legend, the lore of Resident Evil 6 wasn't really carry on into later series. It became more of a forgotten piece. So the last negative that I'm going to go through is the design of Resident Evil 6. So first of all, this is the first game ever that I don't feel like this is a Resident Evil game, because of the action sequence, loads of cutscene with a lot of boom and bangs, and also no horror elements, and a story that's very loosely connected to all the other past Resident Evil game. It just wasn't a great Resident Evil style game. For me, it's just like a skin of Resident Evil, but underneath, that core element is completely missing. So that's why back in 2012 when this game came out, to be honest, didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I did play through it, but because it was so action orientated, it was ridiculously fun to watch, but I just didn't like it. I wasn't a fan of it, and a lot of people wasn't a fan of it back then as well. But coming back to it, having the mindset that this is a complete action piece, it kind of changed my opinion. I have a lot more positive opinion, a positive vibe about this game now, and just enjoying it as more of a ridiculous action game than a proper Resident Evil survival horror, or even survival action horror game, Resident Evil game. So yeah, I mean, that's, my perception did change a lot. So overall, I'm gonna give this game a 7 out of 10 score. I did really enjoy coming back to this in the PlayStation 4. I know I would, because I'm a little bit open-minded now, knowing that this is a complete action piece. Whatever Capcom said back in the day, saying this is the return of horror, that wasn't true, but at the end of the day, I had a lot of great fun on this. The gameplay is extremely fun and action orientated. You have the fluid motion to back it up, and with the increased enemy count and aggression, it made it a really fun and can be a very challenging game as well. And also there are plenty of game modes to keep you busy. The campaign, there's 4 main campaigns with tons of collectibles, and of course the Mercenary mode as well. 10 maps, plenty of characters that you can try to use and get a high score out of it. But I have to say though, the story is not the best. The overall design of the game still has a little bit of a sour taste, even like 9 years ago that I played it, and I wasn't like very thrilled about it. But at the end of the day, the story is crap. The new characters are very weak. The Jake storyline doesn't make any sense at all, and some of the gameplay elements are still kind of weak or kind of janky, is the term that I would use. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's still a very positive experience for me coming back to Resident Evil 6, and I'm glad I did, because I'm going to play more Mercenaries during my chill time. So I hope you guys enjoyed my video where I share my thoughts and my opinion and my review on Resident Evil 6, and the next Resident Evil 6 title will be Resident Evil 7. So this is the last final main title that I will play before Resident Evil 8 Village, which means that Resident Evil 8 Village is in the horizon. I can see the lights at the end of the tunnel, and I'm gonna play the heck out of that game, because so far I've played the demo and it's been really good so far. That is 2 so far in a sentence. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Click the like button to put a smile on my face. Subscribe to my channel for more things Resident Evil, and also to see my continuation to the path to Resident Evil 8 Village by completing Resident Evil 7 as the last main series of Resident Evil. Stay safe out there, keep calm, and video game. Peace!